Welcome to No Concessions Radio. This is at the Monument in Winchester, and our first guest, Logan Moore, Alex Kerns. Did I say it right?
Yep.
Got it right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Low Water Bridge Band. These are some local guys that have made it in the region, in the East Coast, Mid-Atlantic, and we're going to get to know them. And you get to know us. Executive Chef Chris Kenworthy's here with me. I'm Justin, representing the Monument. So, thank you. I know, like, whenever someone is new at something, we haven't set any precedent, so you're trusting us. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. We're excited to be your guinea pig,
Nice.
your test dummies.
Give yourself a little credit. Punching bags.
This is an art form that everyone's trying to get into right now. That's how we ended up with No Concessions, because if you recall, like, I don't know how old you guys are, but if you recall, like, back at MySpace days, everybody started a band and they would take a page away from you. Podcast seems to be the same way. So somebody just has a great idea, they name something. We found something that wasn't taken, so we ran with it. But we wanted to have you here for a couple of reasons. I met you on one of my first weekends working with Chris down here at Monoflow International. I put on a show and you were there. That's where I met you at, Logan.
Right.
With Winchester 49, and then Chris knew of
And
you.
also, don't forget our boy Cole Chaney.
Oh, Cole Chaney.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we met you guys, and we booked you as soon as we could. So that was on the radar. People pushed for it. Everyone mentioned it.
Cool.
You know, kind of the town kind of tells you what they want to hear. And as long as you're listening, you can make it happen. So I did a little bit of research, and I have a lot of questions, I guess, about how it all comes together. So tell me a little bit about what you guys do during the day, and I think you're both singers, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How does that work? Do you have a battle?
I mean, not really. When it comes to writing music, Alex will come up with a song that is just written, specifically for him. And he has this register that I can't match, and he has a way of singing where there's just a lot of emotion. It just seems effortless. Where, I'm more of a strong, out there, get it out there singer. Where, we just kind of have songs that we write that are one's best for one, one's best for the other. It just kind of works out that way.
Yeah.
And Alex is very generous when it comes to songwriting. He's written some songs where he'll let me sing, or he'll be like, "Hey, here's a song I got that I think you would sound great on." So I love that about Alex and his songwriting is the generosity.
Yeah. Well, some songs I'll try to write, and if it doesn't feel right with me singing, I'll be like, "Well, hey, Logan, maybe you sing lead on this." We change up a couple words, the lyrics, and we kind of mold it from there.
Right.
It's a pretty easy process.
Yeah, a lot of times our songs are both of us singing together at different times. I'll sing the chorus, or he'll sing the chorus in a song, or
We'll switch verses.
yeah, and then we'll hit harmonies on a whole verse together. So, I mean, singing with him and Riley, our drummer and producer, our album producers, is real easy. They're brothers, so
Okay.
they can hit those harmonies. And he's also the drummer, and Alex is the bassist. So the drum, bass, rhythm section is just super.
So your brother's
tight.
also in the band?
Yeah. Riley, the
He's
drummer.
our drummer, and the other.
So
singer.
y'all doing like an Allman Brothers thing?
We
Like,
do. Well,
I-
we like the Eagles a lot.
Hey, yo, I'm digging it.
And we got the Allman Brothers thing going on, but we've been playing music, Riley and I, together for since he was 9, I was 11. But just having that brotherly harmony, that blend, helps with singing in Low Water Bridge Band.
How did you figure out that you could sing? Was you just messing around?
I just tried.
Yeah.
A long time ago, when Riley and I would play music together, we were kids. I was way more bashful, so I would turn the lights out in the jam room. It was just me and him, so nobody could see me singing. So that's how I'd practice. I would gain my confidence with the lights off. It's like, well, I can do it with the lights off. Maybe one day I can do it with the lights on.
Okay.
And then maybe one day with tons of lights on me.
Nice.
Kind of just, escalated from there.
And how about your singing story?
Kind of funny. So I spent some time in the military when I was in basic training. It's one of those things in basic training. No matter what you do, you're always wrong. And I don't even know what I did to piss off this drill instructor, but instead of talking, the only way I could communicate was if I sang. And I figured, fuck it, if I'm going to embarrass myself, I'm going to embarrass myself. And I just belted it out and eventually got in trouble for singing too much. So it was kind of just one of those things. I mean, I was 24 years old. I didn't know I could sing.
They made you sing your answers?
Yeah. Anything they asked me, I'd have to sing it to them.
Just you?
Just me, yeah.
What genre? Like opera, polka?
Just anything. They just
anything,
wanted to
right.
embarrass me. So I would just do different ones every time.
That's awesome.
Fuck 'em.
So that probably built morale, right?
Yeah, it was funny. You know, a lot of the guys were coming up behind me being like, that was awesome. I think you pissed him off because you could sing so well. And I was like, I was just, I don't know. I wasn't trying to. But it was fun. It was funny. And after that is when I figured out, you know, probably should pick up a guitar and learn how to play that.
So before 24, no singing, dancing, playing.
No, I was a drummer. I played drums. Actually, I bought my first drum set off of Riley, our current drummer, back in, I want to say 2004. And took that to college with me. And I was a drummer in a metal band for probably, 5 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. What school did you go to?
Radford University.
No kid. I went to Virginia Tech.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for a few years. It was
Party time.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah. It
remember
was
much.
definitely party time. It was definitely not academia time.
I don't
That's why
remember.
hence we're having this conversation right here, right now.
I don't remember much of the academia myself being at Radford. I remember snowboarding a lot, playing music, drinking, partying. And that is why I went into the military.
I know you were slaying.
I had a good time.
Yeah, I bet I could tell.
I think I went to something called Quad Fest once.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't go to Quad Fest. You
Sponsored by
experience
Valtrex.
That was weird.
Quad Fest. It's one of those things. When I was in high school and I went to go check Radford after I got in, I went to go visit some friends that were there, and they were like, "We'll come up during Quad Fest and you'll see what it's like." I'm like, "All right, sure." I didn't know anything about it. This is before you could just jump on your phone and look up stuff on the internet. Anyway, I get there and it's like just an all-out party everywhere. I mean, I slept outside the entire time. It was awesome. And that's when I was like, yeah, let's go to Radford.
What did you study?
I went for business administration.
And
Using it?
anatomy.
Biology.
Drinkyotomy. Yeah, no, I had a blast there. A buddy of mine and I created the Radford University Snow and Ski-Board Club.
Nice.
It turned out to be the biggest club at Radford University. And we had like 400 people in our club. And we went up to snowshoe every weekend. And I mean, that was a party.
So metal, you know,
snowboarding.
yeah, that's awesome. Justin used to be in a metal band, I believe.
That's why I live here now. Yeah, up in this area.
Oh, really?
That's how I met my woman, who's now my baby mama and my wife. Yeah.
Nice.
She followed
Was
us
it in
around.
that order, though?
No. So, were you in a metal band too?
No, like I was saying, Riley and I grew up playing music together. We grew up with the influences from the Beatles and the Beach Boys. That's what our parents listened to. So going back to the harmonies, doing that, we had big influence from that. Our older brother, I'm the middle, Riley's the youngest. Our older brother came back one day with a 311 album, and it just blew our minds. And so we started playing, rock reggae, like Sublime, 311, Incubus. They were really big influences starting off.
Yeah, I like Incubus out of that group.
And that's kind of what, gave us traction to want to pursue music.
I find that some of my peers who played music when we were younger, we were influenced by heavy metal, rock and roll, but we were kind of rebelling against the traditional music of our family. I grew up in East Tennessee, so like church Sunday, eat at grandma's, aunts, uncles, cousins. Somebody was playing a guitar on the front porch. People were singing, and then also you sang a lot at church. And that's kind of how I used to have to go to these things. these concerts or revivals or whatever, and it's just like tons of tour buses outside, and I'm excited about what might be happening in there. I see big speakers, lights, the whole big thing, and so I was into it. I might be 6-7 years old, right? And this thing's gonna last for hours. It's bluegrass and gospel music, right? So in the beginning, I'm excited because it's loud. There's the bass and all cool things happening with vocals and stuff. But like as I grew up and started to try to write my own music or do something with music, I was like anti that because you know what I mean. But as my peers get older,
you're kind of bored of it.
you kind of reject
rebellious.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, and then go to hip hop
Your
because
father was a man of the cloth too, man. Don't forget that part.
I was at church all the time. But like, it kind of comes full circle, I guess, because you were like born into it as part of your culture.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like the only thing I could listen to that would be rebellious to my family was like hip hop music or something like that because my parents loved Kiss and AC/DC and all the things that freaked their parents out. But I find my peers definitely coming full circle and doing a lot of country music, bluegrass, gospel, or whatever as they mature as musicians. Is that kind of what happened to you guys, or how did you end up at this Watermelon Park?
Well, I mean, Watermelon Park, I just found out was the first bluegrass festival in the world.
Right.
Our guitarist James Montgomery lent
Also
us
known as Chainsaw.
Chainsaw.
Or
What's
James
up,
Hall.
Chainsaw or James Hall? How you doing, bud? He lent us that information. That festival happens in Berryville, and it's been happening for a long time. So I grew up in Berryville, so it was kind of in our backyard. We never really went to it as children, but it was kind of like along the lines of, I would take dump rides with my dad, my brothers and I, and so we turned on the classic rock, and so we heard a lot of the Eagles, liking the southern rock, the kind of country, like I say, the Eagles were big influence as well.
In the car with your old man.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
And if he's listening, and when he does listen, he'll remember.
My father
Wrote a song about it.
had a big briefcase. I don't know if you guys remember this, like the briefcases with cassettes.
Yeah.
And it was like he had a Pinto and a cassette deck and the 8-track. He was high fluting right with this joint. And anyway, he had this Midnight Rambler DJ that used to help produce that played all this good rock and roll music: Ted Nugent, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, etc. And I'm just this little kid. I'm like 8-9 years old, and he just needs to escape. Right, as a minister, you need to get out of there.
Yeah.
And he'd go back to his roots and get in that thing and take us on drives down to the river or whatever and just crank rock and roll. And that connection was like awesome. So I feel you on that. That's great.
And that's where I learned a lot of it, because I'd always ask questions like, "Dad, who's this?" He'd tell me. I'd be like, "Dad, who's this?" And then he'd be like, "Oh, you asked me too fast. Let me think about that real quick."
Right.
And, it would come to him, and a lot of that comes from, just his influence from his knowledge of music.
And he would tell you about Watermelon Park. I know it was like 1960. They started Johnny Cash, Dolly Parton,
They
Merle
started
Haggard.
in the 60s.
They all played there.
From what I understand, it went on for maybe a decade, and then this might not be correct, but like Hell's Angels came in there one year.
Security.
Yeah, and some people got shot, or some people died, and so they stopped doing Watermelon Park Bluegrass Festival for years, and they picked it back up in like the early 2000s, like 2005, 2006. So they picked back up.
And Logan was telling me, like, your whole experience as musicians, you kind of started during the pandemic, essentially, is when you
Well,
you were trying to debut
yes and no.
as a group.
Alex is married to my cousin, so I've known Alex.
Yeah, they're
for a
first
long
cousins.
time. Yeah, his wife is my first cousin, and I've known Riley since 4-H camp. We went to 4-H camp together. That's our drummer.
That was before me and Logan knew
That was
each
before
other.
I knew who he was. So I knew of these guys as musicians in the area, and I had gone off to college. After I found my voice in the military, I picked up a guitar, and at the point I was confident enough to play live. I was living in Charlotte at that point after the military, and I was playing solo shows around Charlotte, North Carolina, and would just randomly reach out to Alex and be like, "Man, I'm going to move back up there, and we need to write some music together."
Yeah, you'd be like, you would text me. It'd be like 11:30 at night.
Probably
And you're living in Charlotte. I'm living in
Probably hammered.
maybe Shepherdstown or
Yeah.
Clark County at the time. Hey man, let's start a band and get famous. I'm like, I'd love to, man, but you live like 7 hours away.
I always knew I was going to come back this way at some point. So when I moved back in 2018, into 2018, maybe it was 2019, reached out to Alex again. I was like, "Hey man, I'm back. Let's get together and jam." And we met at the Lone Oak one time and split a set.
Mm-hmm.
I played an hour and a half, and then he played an hour and a half.
Yep.
And then a few weeks later, we swapped that. He played the hour and a half first, and then I played an hour and a half. And then the next time, he'd play an hour, I'd play an hour, and then we'd play an hour together. And then
One
just
would
kinda-
open up for each other. We'd alternate.
we kept opening for
And for
each
those
other.
who don't know
Nice.
who what the Lone Oak Tavern is, it's a great bar, restaurant.
It's like an
off
old house.
Lord Fairfax Highway.
We're familiar with the Lone Oak. Shout out to Chef Pat White.
Terry Spinoza. What's up, brother?
Yeah, baby.
Okay, so when let's just say I'm a stranger and I'm reading about this Watermelon Park, it sounds like this is where the band
right.
was
Yeah,
formulated.
well, this is kind of where
You guys, this is your jam spot,
This is-
or
We
what?
found a member. We found a member
we
there.
found a member here. This is this is another cool moment for me moving back to this area. It's always hard as a musician moving to another area and busting into the music scene because there are already very established musicians in the area that are just like, who the fuck's this dude? Like,
Right.
Especially at a bluegrass festival.
especially at a bluegrass festival where bluegrass musicians are very particular about how they sound and just very particular people and
Who they're playing with.
who they're playing with and stuff like that. So coming back, I was just trying to bust in, and I met a guy named John Bestwick out of I think he lives in Purcellville. He's out of Short Hill Mountain Boys, and I played a gig across the street from him. We were kind of facing each other. Our speakers were facing each other. It's kind of a stupid setup, but afterwards he came up and he was like, "Hey man, it was very nice to meet you. My name is John Bestwick. Come to Watermelon Pickers Festival. You'll meet a lot of musicians around the area." We talked for a while, had a couple beers. Great guy. Anyway, fast forward to Watermelon. There's this big fire pit after all the bands are done playing. I mean, a huge fire pit where everybody gets together, all the local musicians get together and they jam around. And John saw me from across the fire pit. I had my guitar, and he was like, "Hey, this guy knows the song. I know. Play that Midnight Virginia song." And so I played Midnight Virginia, and people just jumped on that thing. And after we were done, Stacy, our fiddle player, came up to me, and she's like, "I don't know if you have a band, but here's my card. Let's jam." So Alex and I, we just lost the fiddle player we were playing with. She was giving birth, and she's a nurse, so she had to.
She was in the middle of labor. She was like, "Guys, I have to quit."
Had to quit.
Well, she was having the baby,
Just
right?
popping the baby out, quitting. At the
Did she
same-
play
no.
with you
I'm
guys
counting,
while
I have
she
to
was with
quit.
John?
Sandra helped me write. Sandra Lyerly Carr,
Great
incredible
musician.
incredible songwriter. She helped me write Midnight in Virginia and a number of other songs on the album. Awesome person. She just had a lot going on, and so she said she had to take a back seat and raise her family. And so Alex and I took that momentum that we had started with her and kind of brought Stacy in, and then James Hall.
James Hall.
We'll tell that story in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
I met him in Tennessee on a turkey hunting trip.
What part?
I don't even remember where we were. I think we were in Greenville,
Greenville, yeah.
Tennessee.
Outside Tri-Cities, right?
I think so. It was just
Rogersville,
right on the other
Greenville.
side of Cherokee National Forest.
Okay, cool, yeah.
We were doing some public bird hunting out there, and James knew my cousin, and we went to this hunting trip together, and we got together and played around the campfire, and so I knew he played and sang, and we called him up, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll come jam with you guys," and then we got our drummer to come in, and who it didn't take very much. He's Alex's brother, so
Right.
he noogied him until he said yes.
That took a while
Yeah.
because Logan and I would daydream every once in a while. I'd be like, what would it take to get Riley to commit to being a drummer?
Yeah.
Because my brother, he was busy doing other stuff. He had his own projects going on. But he would humor us by filling in for drums every once in a while.
Hey, man,
but we
it
wanted to
sounds
lock
so
him
good.
in.
Best drummer I've ever heard. And I think he has perfect timing. and he's so creative. I'm super happy that we got him.
Are you fans of Lamb of God? I think the only other band I know that had a drummer guitarist combo. The Adler
I've heard
Brothers.
of them. Never.
Out of Richmond.
I don't know too many of their catchy numbers.
It's metal. Yeah. Do you know the crazy thing about certain metal is if you slow it down and you take all the electrification out of it, it's very similar to bluegrass in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
That's
what I've heard.
crazy.
I agree
That
with
groove that's in there.
They're both very intricate.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you all were talking. You were totally different areas, right? And you were at Charlotte, and you were up here, and you didn't really think about recording together at that point.
Oh,
from a distance,
not
right?
at all.
With
I mean,
bluegrass.
I did. I thought about it just because I always thought about like the best musicians that I know
Sure.
and how I wanted to collaborate with. I wanted to have a band with the best musicians I know.
What I mean
So
is
I'd
like
always been
recording
thinking about
apart.
it.
Someone
Oh.
here from afar. I think.
Well,
with bluegrass, is it even
We
possible?
weren't there yet.
Well, so I mean, when it comes to our music, I think a lot of it is being there together, vibing on the same creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So writing long distance would be pretty difficult. I think it would be difficult. I've never tried it. I think it would be difficult. I just enjoy. Sometimes Alex, Riley, and I will sit down and something will just pop into one of our heads, and someone will pick up a guitar, and
Yeah.
a song's written 15 minutes later.
I mean, we hashed out the song "Too Stoned to Care," Riley, Logan, and myself, in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So this is the
had
sobriety
it
anthem,
polished in
right?
30 minutes.
Sobriety?
Yeah, it's a sobriety anthem.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
I feel it.
It's a song about problems.
Now,
How I ain't got none.
Nice. So when you track bluegrass, do you do stem tracks and break it all down, or do you record live basically?
Well, first, I want to address our genre.
It's not bluegrass.
It's not
not at
bluegrass.
all.
I wouldn't say we're
Oh,
bluegrass.
I'm
wanted
so
to
sorry.
ask,
What
I
is
mean,
this?
we get coined it a lot, and I mean we have a lot of bluegrass influences in our music
There's a
Sure.
couple tracks from our.
that are very grassy, but I wouldn't
Like
still
two-
wouldn't consider them bluegrass really.
Nor would I.
And
What is it?
I don't know. It's I don't know what you call it.
Simplistically, maybe.
Shenandoah,
maybe
it's
country.
Shenandoah swanging.
I mean, I
Country
don't know what you
Americana.
call it.
Dude, I listen to everything.
Shenandoah Valley country.
The song Headwinds, I really like that.
Yeah.
I'll probably play it when I'm
Thank you.
Sure, sure.
Again. What is that?
I don't know, man. That's Appalachian country.
Appalachian
That's
country?
That's Shenandoah Valley country.
We've tried to put a genre on it. We're not bluegrass.
We're kind of waiting for
necessarily.
somebody else to do that.
Yeah, we're kind of waiting for somebody else to
Be like,
because we
"Ah,
don't
no, you're
We
wrong."
know. I have no idea. It's a mix of. It's got bluegrass tinges. It's got some classic country. I don't know. Sprinkle a classic
Hey
country
man,
on there.
it's low water bridge.
It's low. It's Appalachian.
It's Appalachian low water
Shenandoah
bridge.
Valley.
Yeah.
Blue
Does it
Ridge Mountain
matter? I
music.
mean, dude, we
I
have
don't know.
rappers making rock albums and
Yeah, I mean,
I
at what
think
point,
it
it's
ma-
like
I
it's
think it
like
matters.
food.
I do think it kind of matters because it kind of puts you in a demographic.
Well, it comes down to the business.
needs
I
to
think
be a
from
Grammy
from
category.
from an artistic side, though, I think is where he's come from. It's like with food,
Yeah.
for instance. You know, for me, I don't like to stay confined to one thing or the other. I'll throw a little bit of Asian
Sure.
with a little bit of country fried.
Yeah.
And,
I
take
mean,
some
we're
French,
we're
a little
touching
Spanish,
every
and-
little piece of
Sure.
country genre. I mean, our new album that we're coming out with is. I mean, we have like legit country western.
Mm-hmm.
We have more bluegrass, Blue Ridge Mountain type stuff.
Yeah.
It's got any outlaw country in there?
There's outlaw country. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a lot of murder
Yeah.
ballads.
Yeah.
I get-
hey,
At least you
I
guys have
know-
a very diverse look too. Like a lot of bluegrass bands, when you see them, they show up and everybody's wearing suspenders and the black trousers and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But you guys
Tell the
come up and you
crowd
got.
what I'm wearing.
I mean, hey man, you got to stand up and show.
Is that a
them.
real scorpion
there's
in
a
the
whole can-
belt,
that's a-
dude?
that's
We were talking
that's
about
a
this
real
earlier. This
scorpion.
dude's got the
Live.
bad guy belt buckle.
It's a
right
real live
here.
Where's the
If
camera
it's
at,
the last
Fairview?
thing you see before you die, yikes.
Is that
He has to feed that thing
Yeah.
too.
someone killed a scorpion and put it in
Yeah.
that thing?
Yep.
Oh, it's live.
Nice.
And it's
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
Sturgill Simpson is a good example of
I
of a
mean,
man who has
Sure.
That
theme
I mean,
album,
Yeah.
bluegrass sounding record, and then what is it? Lights and Fury, Sound and Fury.
Sound
Sound of
Fury.
Fury.
That- what is
that was
that?
like a rock album,
Yeah.
I would say. And
Yeah.
But the voice doesn't
electronic,
change, it's
almost
crazy.
electronic.
Yeah. My favorite Sturgill albums are, I don't know. I like his bluegrass tunes.
Cutting the lawn.
I don't have much opinion about him.
You don't like?
It's not that I don't like him. He's a great songwriter. I just
Yeah, follow. What do you listen to on a regular basis?
regular basis. I'm gonna go John R. Miller, Tyler Childers, Sarah Farrell. What's some good ones? The Eagles, like I was saying. Some other go-tos. There's a million.
Right.
Depends on the day.
Does depend
The
on the
set
day.
and setting.
I cut a lot of grass.
Depends on
I
what
also
you're
listen
doing.
to a lot of stand-up comedy.
All right.
Louis
Who's your
C.K.,
guy?
Mark Norman,
Nice.
Nick Swartzen.
Yeah, I saw Louis C.K. a few years back on New Year's Eve, and that dude is such a cool dude that he ran up until 11:45 and then realized that we were in Baltimore and knew that there was no place that anybody could get to within 14 minutes for the countdown. Homeboy came on and put on an extra 45 minutes on the set.
That's awesome.
Louis C.K., thank you very much, bro. Hope you're watching.
Yeah, check us out, Louis C.K.
Yeah,
Check Low Water Bridge Band out,
Hashtag
Louis
Louis
CK.
C.K. Hashtag Low Water Bridge Band. At the bottom
Trying
of
to
the screen.
resurrect
At the
the
bottom
man.
of the screen.
Resurrect the ginger.
Nick Shoulders is good. Just
Yeah?
starting to dabble into him, yeah.
I like Nick Shoulders. He's a really good. I can piggyback off of all of those. I can
Right.
attest
Yeah.
for all of those. I'd throw some Culture Wall in.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of Culture Wall.
When you're writing, do you listen to things that are polar or in complete contrast of what you're working on?
I don't think I really have a correlation to the two. When I write something, it has nothing to do with what I'm listening to. I don't think it's got something to do.
Try
with,
not to, at least.
It just has something to, for me. I'll get an idea in my head first of like a cool line. Actually, I'm working on a really cool song in my head that his son came up with his first band name called Let Me Go. It's just it's stuck in my head, and I've been
He's
thinking about
7.
it all day. Yeah, he's 7 years old, and
Nice.
he said he wants to start a band called Let Me Go. And I'm like, damn, dude, that's deep.
It is.
My
Rebellion's
11-year-old
already setting
nephew
in.
Yeah.
wrote this it was like my brother put it out on our Signal group, and it was this very tragic love song, and it was about like how time flies by, and you never have time enough to love enough. And this
Damn.
kid's also a certifiable genius and an athletic what do they call phenom, so
Cool.
Sasha Ferreira.
Let's put him in the band.
Hey, listen, man, he can play the tambourine like nobody's business. But
Higher.
So quick question. So which low water bridge are we named after? Because he asked
best
me earlier
one.
today. He said, "What Morgan's Ford?"
Morgan's Ford.
All right,
yeah.
Morgan.
So,
Hey, I drive Morgan's Ford every single. Part of the reason I took this job was that I get to drive over Morgan's Ford every day on the way in and out because
do you live in Shenandoah Farms?
Shores.
You live in Shores? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the reason we named it that was because when I moved back from Charlotte, I bought a house in Shenandoah Farms. And he lived in White Post. So we would to get back and forth to practice and music together, we would take the Low Water Bridge.
It was
Back when it was like the extra low ride.
No. This-
not back
they
then.
had
This was-
rebuilt
Oh, that's
it.
right. They
This is
rebuilt it.
not-
They had.
Yeah,
It was still pretty new.
This is 2019.
Yeah.
It's 2019 now.
But that was a really great route
Yeah, it was
to go
beautiful
to
route.
band practice.
Yeah. So we were just we were talking and we were like, yeah, a band name will hit us. Because before, when we were with Sandra Lyerly Carr, our other songwriter and fiddle player, we were called Canoe Capital because we lived in Front Royal.
Is that the canoe?
Low Water Bridge is
Yeah.
definitely hitting harder than Canoe Capital, because Canoe Capital I feel like could be opening up for what's a kid's band name that you like?
I've been listening to SpongeBob lately.
Yes,
The Wiggles?
The Wiggles, yeah, the Wiggles.
SpongeBob's greatest hits.
You know
Hey,
how many
actually,
times a day I hear the Greatest Day Ever song that SpongeBob did in my
I have
head?
no kids, so I have no idea.
I mean, I
Best Day
have,
Ever?
I have 3. I've never heard of this song.
You never heard Best Day Ever?
No,
Do you have any child that's
Can
between
you
3
sing
and
it
5?
for us?
I do.
Well, what's the problem? You gotta listen to Best Day Ever.
We don't like. I just don't have
You have the
like
excuse to this song,
SpongeBob
dude.
is not for his household. That's all.
Well, we live on the river.
SpongeBob
We
is
live
not-
on the
it's not
river,
for
so
everybody, Jason.
internet reception's limited.
Oh, another question. I was thinking about a thought, and I sidebarred it for a second, but now it's back. I get a little confused about Appalachian versus Blue Ridge. The Blue Ridges are within the Appalachian Mountains, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
So you said Appalachian music earlier. So would you be Appalachian river music? or Blue Ridge?
It would be Shenandoah River music.
Shenandoah River
I mean,
music.
Appalachia is just a group.
It's the name of the mountain
range.
chain.
I mean,
so
you guys
I hear
are
what you're
chain.
saying. I hear what you're
Your
saying.
music is actually very specific to
River
the low
music.
water bridge
Yeah.
at
Sure.
Morgan's
Shenandoah,
Ford. That's
Blue
right.
Ridge
Yeah,
Country.
Headwinds is
Yeah.
putting in right there.
I
That's
mean,
what that song's about.
you guys know that was on the what was that show? 48, or like the first 48.
Where the dude was murdered.
murder
put
show?
in the
Yeah,
freezer.
yeah, that's how. Yeah.
Wait, somebody
Yeah.
got murdered in y'all?
you guys got to make a song about
They
that.
didn't even
dude.
plug the freezer in.
What?
No. That was a different. That was a different. That was those kids.
Oh, it's a
that
different
was the kids.
murder.
No, there was one that was on TV, and the reason they found out that the dude got murked at the low water bridge was they did trace analysis of the sediment in the dude's in the tread of his shoes, and it's like very specific to the low water bridge. You guys can Google this. I know
Dang.
it sounds crazy.
Oh, we gotta write a song about it.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Gravel in the
Massacre at
tread or
Low Water
something.
Bridge.
You know, I get a little credit on that.
Don't
so,
tread
like,
on me.
something like that. As long as I get like a piece of the percentage of the revenue you make from it.
Yeah, we'll definitely say your name
Yeah,
after
shout out.
every time we sing this.
Yes.
Well, welcome to our place, guys. We look forward to having y'all on the 15th.
Very
right?
excited.
Yeah.
And we're new out here in this world. Oh,
I gotta say, this is the nicest green room I've been to.
thanks.
I wish there was some money and stuff in the safety deposit boxes.
So do
That'd
we.
be way cooler for like parting gifts.
I'm sure they cleared those out as soon as they could.
Oh, last question.
Sure, yeah.
Is it
fire
Sorry
away.
Man's Waltz?
Mhm.
What's he sorry about?
He's not sorry. He's just a sorry man.
Oh.
Mhm. Good
Right on.
question.
Deep.
Yeah, I've never.
Hell of a
asked that
question.
actually.
All right, cool. All right, thanks for coming, guys. I think
Yeah.
this is it.
Thank you,
Thanks for
guys.
having
All right.
us.
Take it easy.
Cheers, bros.
To the CD release show in 2023. I
Yes.
don't know if I can get up out of this cowhide. There you go. Cheers. I got pissed. I guess Anheuser-Busch got to sponsor this.
Have to.
Also, Twisted Tea.
Yeah, I got it.